Hey there, Chicago Bears fans and NFC North Monster fans. This is Tim with the NFC North Monsters, and I'm here tonight to talk about all things Bears, NFC North as always, and as well as anything else that's going on in the NFL as we are hitting the conference championships this weekend. Two stellar games. Unfortunately, our Chicago Bears are not going to be in it this weekend. Hard fought battle against the LA Rams, who are going up to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. And then we have in Denver, the New England Patriots coming into town to play the Denver Broncos. We'll get the conference championships here in just a second and some possible predictions that I have for that game. But unfortunately, tonight, as many have heard, the Chicago media, a sports broadcasting legend. I remember listening to this gentleman and getting hooked on the score 670 in Chicago. NFL or Chicago Bears legend as on the 670 score there. Borns and Bernstein's when I really got hooked on 670 to score. Terry Bors passed away at the age of 75 due to complications with cancer. Cancer sucks. His voice would be greatly missed on the airwaves in Chicago. I would always catch it on YouTube, or I even would listen online. I have called into the show there a couple times and had some conversations with Bors and Bernstein about coaches, players, whatnot. But to you, Terry, this is for you. Rest in peace, and thoughts and prayers go out to your family. Sorry for your loss. But once again, Terry Bors passed away at the age of 75 due to cancer. But you know, unfortunately, the world keeps going, and here we are. We're in the conference championship weekend. Let's talk about the NFC North game second, because the AFC game is first. So we have New England going into Denver. Really cold. It seems like down in Denver this weekend, but it's cold all over the United States this weekend. So nothing really new there. New England's used to playing in cold weather. So anybody that's like, hey, it's Bronco weather, let's just get that kicked out right away. So first off, New England is led by Drake May and Mike Vrabel, who is doing a great job on coaching. I just really feel like this game, however, is going to come down to Jason Stidham and how does he handle playing in, I think it's his sixth NFL start. So not looking very promising there. And so I'm going to pick the New England Patriots for the win. Close game. I would say probably going to come down to about the fourth quarter. But if Drake May starts to have issues controlling the ball like he did against the last opponent with the Houston Texans there, I think maybe the Broncos could sneak it out. But I just really feel like this is going to be the game for New England Patriots. Now, on the NFC side, history has shown this year that things don't look good when you play the Chicago Bears. Usually the next weekend you lose. So with that track record going, I'm going to say the Seattle Seahawks are going to win on Sam Darnold. But it's going to be the defense that takes them there. You have the number one scoring offense, who we put in the check, up against the number one scoring defense in Seattle. I think after this game, it's going to be the Seattle Seahawks coming out ahead. They're going to win the turnover battle, and they're going to take it. So the Super Bowl will be New England Patriots, Seattle Seahawks. That's kind of my feel here. So we'll see what happens there. So on to some Chicago Bear news. Let's get right into some dirty stuff that's been going on this week. The stadium. Is it becoming a green light for Indiana, Northwest Indiana there? Saw this come out on the CBS.com. The Indiana State Committee has advanced proposed legislation setting the framework for a potential new stadium for the Chicago Bears and the Northwest Indiana area. So it's looking like, unlike Illinois, Indiana isn't screwing around. They're wanting to get the Chicago Bears, and they want to get them now. They don't want to screw around like they did the last time when the McCaskies and Ted Phillips used Gary, Indiana as a pawn almost to try to get that new stadium, but it really wasn't a new stadium. It was just refurbing Soldier Field. But this time around, it looks like we are seeing progress being made in the Indiana legislation. Also, here, just highlight this real quick. The bill would require the Bears to enter into a lease of at least 35 years. The Bears would pay for repairs and operational costs, but also keep all the operating revenue generated by the stadium. That's your concession stands. That's your tickets. That's events coming. So anything that gets generated by that stadium, the Bears will get. That's kind of what the Chicago Bears really want. That's why they're willing to spend the money to build a new stadium. All they asked for was infrastructure help from the Illinois state government, but apparently that was too hard for Pritzker. So the team would also have the option to buy the stadium for $1 at the end of the lease. So after 35 years, you've been making all the profits off that baby. So now you can own the stadium for $1. Who would like to own an NFL stadium for $1? Come on now. I think this is almost a done deal. I think Kevin Warren's probably licking his chops right now and going, let's get those tables and let's get those seating arrangements done. Since that was such a high priority back when the Bears were on the hard knocks, the no cussing hard knocks. But we ain't going to fucking do no cussing here, right? So we have that going on. And then some other news that's been breaking lately this week. Interesting topic. Was DJ Moore actually possibly concussed and he should have been out of the game? I have seen some reports that the NFL might be looking into the Chicago Bears and their handling of the DJ Moore incident and possible injury during the course of the game. This could also have been leading to why DJ Moore has not been wanting to talk to the media, why he was made himself unavailable, because he didn't want to show that he was hurt. I know DJ Moore's wife, Raven, seems to be a little more vocal than DJ. I'm starting to have my reservations that, maybe DJ wasn't 100% at fault here. Maybe the Chicago Bears were at fault a little bit. The Bears really haven't been hinting at anything involving DJ Moore. But once again, we're 1 week away from the last game. These guys just did their exit interviews and everything. So, I mean, we're not looking at player movements yet. That's going to be long down the road. That's when the new calendar year starts, around March, when players start moving, free agents start getting signed, players start getting traded. Have seen a lot about DJ Moore getting shipped to the Las Vegas Raiders for Max Crosby. I'm still on team no with Max Crosby. I mean, I love the guy, hell of a motor, great football player, massive contract that you have to bring on. We are really struggling with cap room as is right now. We're going to have to do some moves as is, restructuring deals, probably with Cole Kmet, DJ Moore if he stays with Chicago. There's also having to re-sign Darnell Wright. I've heard of, we could do some voids and some contracts here, some void years. So there's ways of us getting some money. Another player I heard that they might try to restructure is Montez Sweat. So interesting to see. We'll get down the roads and we'll discuss some of those deals here. Like I said, once we start creeping towards free agency, I'm gonna try to do a salary cap show and also break down some of the terminology. What's a restricted free agent? What's an unrestricted free agent? What are void years? So on and so forth. So, maybe we all have a good understanding of when we hit free agency, what we might be looking at. Right now the Chicago Bears are dead last and dead cap. Um, so I mean we're doing good as far as that trend goes. Give Ryan Poles a little credit. I guess he does know how to manipulate that salary cap to make it work. I think we're also dead last in void years on contract deals. So Ryan Poles has done a great job with managing the cap, making sure that we're progressing nicely. He is setting everything up for basically when we get ready to re-sign Caleb Williams. A lot of deals are structured to where when Caleb hits that fourth or fifth year, when we want to extend him, we probably want to extend him year 4 more than year 5. I mean, God, what's Caleb gonna bring in? Close to did we say the $1 billion mark? I mean, what was Patrick Mahomes? Oh, $500 million? I mean, if Caleb wins us a Super Bowl, McCaskey might be shelling out a bill. But who knows? Salary caps and everything else change between now and then. We're still 2 years away from that. Not like it's that far away, but it is still decently down the road. So let's talk about some of the latest coaching news going around the NFL. Obviously, last week we lost Mr. Eric Bieniemy. He did go back to the Kansas City Chiefs. Good for him. He went back to be the OC. The funniest part about all this is Matt Nagy got completely just fucking bamboozled. He was dead set to go to Tennessee to be the head coach. Tennessee said, no thanks, we'll pump the brakes here, and we're going to go with Robert Saleh, the DC from San Francisco. So that was a good fun move there by the Kansas City to bring in Eric Bieniemy, and I mean, I'm sure that makes Patrick Mahomes happier. Patrick Mahomes was way more successful under Eric Bieniemy than Eric Nagy. Shocker, I think every football player minus Justin Fields has been more successful without Matt Nagy. Personally, Nagy will probably wind up being the Cleveland Browns freaking head coach, and we'll get to that in a second too. What a fucking fiasco over in Cleveland. So then we have another great candidate that's going to be probably leaving the Bears. Let's hope not, but sounds like Declan Doyle is going to be going to the Philadelphia Eagles for some interviews. I have seen some stuff on Facebook where it said Declan Doyle refused the Eagles. I did some research online. I could not find anything that stated that as a fact. So I'm thinking this is just more of just BS from Facebook and people just trying to get clicks out there. But Declan Doyle would be good on him if he gets an OC job. Ben Johnson brought him in from the Denver Broncos, probably thinking he was going to be around maybe 1-2 years tops. But it looks like, Declan might be on the move. He's a very young, intelligent man as far as offensive coordinating goes, offensive play schemes. It'd be nice to see him grow. I would like to see him grow more with Chicago and stay here another year, but we don't make those decisions. I mean, these guys have families. They have their own career paths that they want to go on, own aspirations. I'm sure he'd love to be the head coach of a team down the road. And if he's as good as everyone says, he probably will get that very quickly. So we'll see how it goes with him. Side note on the coaching here, Ian Cunningham interviewed again with the Atlanta Falcons. It does sound like now somehow the Chicago Bears did not get the 2 third-round compensatory picks that we thought we were going to get with Ian Cunningham going to the Atlanta Falcons. Trying to figure out the details on that because I really thought that we would get the 2 comp picks for Ian Cunningham if he were to go be the GM of the Atlanta Falcons. But the way they've gone about business has been kind of weird. They hired Matt Ryan as the president, then they hire Stefanski, but they didn't hire the GM before they hired the head coach. Just kind of weird way of working it. I'm sure other NFL teams out there have done similar things, but it just seems kind of weird. You'd think the GM would have say in who he wants to be his head coach. Oh, wait. Ryan Poles didn't get that. Ryan Pace didn't get that either. Remember Ryan Poles? Yeah, I was looking for a coaching candidate, and I found this guy, Matt Eberflus. I don't think Matt Eberflus was his guy. I think it was just forced on him. Kind of like with Ryan Pace and John Fox. It was just like, yeah, you're a young guy. I don't know if you really know how to hire a head coach, so we're gonna give you John Fox, and same with Ryan Poles. We're gonna give you Matt Eberflus. But now we see what happens when Ryan Poles actually truly did get to pick his head coach, Ben Johnson. Congrats, sir! You're a finalist for the AP Coach of the Year. I feel like, without a doubt, he should be the number 1 candidate with Vrabel number 2, and maybe Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco as 3rd. But I don't get the vote, so it doesn't matter. So let's move on to some more coaching news, shall we? Al Harris. Been a lot of talk about him. He went up to Green Bay. He interviewed up there. He's been to Washington, and now he's been going to Tennessee. So I had OC on there. I meant to type DC. So he is looking for a defensive coordinator job at one of those places. Once again, best of luck to Al Harris. You know, he always seems to be doing really good with his secondary. Trevon Diggs led the league in interceptions. This year we had Kevin Byard with interceptions, and he led the league in that. So Al Harris definitely knows how to coach. And like I said, best of luck to Al Harris. I hope he does find a position and becomes a new defensive coordinator somewhere. There we go. I fixed it. But yeah, I'm super excited to see if he happens to go somewhere. But with some of the new head coaching jobs that have been filled and other head coaching jobs that are about to be filled here soon, there's a chance that we could lose even more coordinators. One of the rumors out there as well is Antoine Randall L. He may also be on the move. There was a rumor there for a while that he might go to the Pittsburgh Steelers, back to where he came from, be the head coach, but that changed as Pittsburgh signed Mike McCarthy. So definitely a lot of moving parts in the coaching world. And really, I think everything will be settled probably about that week to 2 weeks after the Super Bowl, as we still have 5 remaining head coaching jobs open. The Arizona Cardinals. What do you do down there? Do you keep Kyler Murray? Do you move on from Kyler Murray? I mean, how many guys has Kyler Murray had fired now? 2, 3 head coaches? Cliff Kingsbury for sure, and then this latest head coach as well. But yeah, I mean, I think that's probably one of the least appealing jobs out there. But then you have the Baltimore Ravens. They have quite a few interviews lined up. Looks like they'll probably be looking at making some decisions here. I would say probably after this weekend. I feel confident by Friday the Ravens will have somebody hired. The Buffalo Bills. I saw a funny story. I once again, I think this might be a rumor, but It was on Facebook, and I don't believe everything on Facebook said Abraham Lincoln. But Philip Rivers interviewed for the head coaching job in Buffalo. I don't know why you would make a retired QB not even out of the league for what, 4 weeks, not even a month, into a head coaching job. And coaching high school ball is a lot different than coaching the NFL. Just talked to Jeff Saturday. Saw how well the Indianapolis Colts did with that one. Then we have the Las Vegas Raiders. Pure shit show there and trying to get head coaching. Looks like they do have quite a few interviews, but I think Tom Brady has his heart set on a couple people. I've seen Sean McDermott tied to the Las Vegas Raiders. With Francisco Mendoza saying that he's coming out for the draft. One's got to wonder now, does that entice somebody coming to the Las Vegas Raiders and have Mendoza as their franchise QB starting out? I'm still something with that kid. I don't know what it is. I just don't feel overly confident that he's going to be a QB for more than 5 years in the NFL, but we'll see. I mean, he could be like an Andrew Luck style player and play for numerous years and have a decent career and bow out early. But then let's focus on the last team on that list, and that's the Cleveland Browns. Might as well call them the Cleveland Steamers at this point. What a complete and total just half-ass backward franchise. Huge money to Deshaun Watson. Huge money to Myles Garrett. I wonder if Garrett's kind of like, why the hell did I re-sign here? He should be talking to his agent and going, why'd you talk me into this? I mean, seriously. I could have went somewhere else. I could have been successful somewhere else and actually made a huge difference. I could actually possibly win a championship before I retire. Probably going to be one of the best defensive players and never really get to a Super Bowl. And it's sad. I mean, I'm hearing the Browns are doing personality tests. And because of that, coaching candidates like Mike McDaniel bowed out and went to Los Angeles Chargers to be their OC. And that's going to be good. Him and Harbaugh paired up. That'll be a good pairing out there. But I mean, I just really don't. I'm glad I'm a Bears fan and not a fucking Browns fan. I'd probably hang myself if I was a Browns fan at this point. But yeah, just a pure and total shit show. I'm floored. I just don't know what Cleveland's doing. But the whole head coaching hiring, the Miami Dolphins hired Green Bay's Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley to be their new head coach there in Miami. So that's going to definitely fill a huge void there in Green Bay. As you know, I mentioned earlier, Al Harris interviewed to go to Green Bay to try to be their new defensive coordinator. But yeah, Jeff Hafley, remember, he was banging on the counter there at the press conference. I said, guaranteed that you'd see him next week. Well, we're never going to see him again in Chicago unless it's the Dolphins playing the Bears. And I don't think Jeff's going to find himself in a great situation down there in Miami, as they have a lot to deal with. They have aging players, massive contracts. They have Tua. They have definitely their hands full down there in Miami. And then the big news, Mike McCarthy, former Green Bay Packer, former Dallas Cowboy head coach, becoming the fourth new head coach in that franchise's history in like the last, was it 50 plus years or close to 40 some years, 40 to 50 years there. Really thought Big Mike was going to go to the Giants, but then they took John Harbaugh. But then I also thought that McCarthy would be going to the Ravens, and then he would have Lamar Jackson, he'd have Derrick Henry, and I think, having a defensive minded coach like that come in, I felt like that team would have been stellar. He would have probably got Roquan Smith coached up. I think it would have helped Baltimore. But needless to say, Pittsburgh. So Mike has longevity. So let's see, 10 years of Mike in Pittsburgh. Probably not, but we'll see. I'm seeing some stuff now that Mike McCarthy is head coach of the Steelers. That Aaron Rodgers is possibly now thinking about coming back. So it's going to be a Rodgers McCarthy, relationship back again. So that'll be interesting to see if that's something that Aaron does actually do. But yeah, some definite moves going on throughout the NFL. Very exciting this weekend. I'm still heartbroken so much from last week. I don't know if I'm going to be watching this weekend. I might tune in, might look at my phone. The game's close. I might switch over. I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts? Are you going to be watching the game? With such a heartbreaking loss last weekend. If you are, leave a comment. If there's certain things that you'd like me to talk about too, leave a comment. I'd like to hear some input from everybody. I've been doing these shows now for about a month, and subscribers are starting to pick up. Which thank you to everybody that is actually hitting the like buttons, hitting the subscribe buttons, hitting the notification bells. I'd love to eventually start talking to some people, and seeing some people come live, and we could talk about the stuff on air while the show is going on. But no, I just really do appreciate everybody that takes the few moments to watch this show and watch me start to develop this show. It's still in its infancy. I'm looking at still doing some extra things to try to make it better. I got a new camera, but looks like I've got a little lag, so I got to get that tweaked. But no, I really do appreciate all of you. You all help no matter what you do. If it's spending 5 minutes watching some shorts or watching the whole video here, thank you so much to all of you. You all mean so much to me. I'm just doing this as a side hobby for my daily grind. It's my nice little therapy to talk to you all. But no, I really would be happy to see some people join the live shows when I get these going. I will probably try to do another live show on Tuesday. We'll talk about possibly some of the top free agents that are going to be coming out. And then we can start talking about Super Bowl on next Friday or Saturday. We'll see how those days play out. But everyone that's out there, you all mean the world to me. I kind of wish that the world's craziness would come to an end so we could all just relax, watch sports, listen to music, be happy with each other. But if there's one thing I know for sure, it's still fuck the Packers. And one last thing, let's bear the fuck down. And let's bear down. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for everyone that tuned in. The shorts will be getting posted to YouTube. Everyone have a terrific night or day, wherever you're watching. We'll catch you the next time. Bear down.